I am so ready for the summer to be over. Look at these skies. They're clear, sunny, and very boring. This harsh light is usually a no-no for any kind of photography, but even worse about the summer is the heat. The camera is overheating, I am overheating, I can't go hiking, I just can't do anything during the summer. But not everything has been bad about my photography this summer. You see, I believe that limitations can actually be very good for you. They can push you, they can make you more creative. I came up with 5-6 different projects. I'm gonna share them with you in this video. I tried to create something different with the tools that I already had. I probably haven't created any amazing work or anything worth to be in my portfolio, but I had fun. I learned a lot about some techniques in photography. I'm gonna be using some of these techniques in the future for my main body of work, for sure. So here we go, 5 or 6 photography ideas for the boring summer. I used my telephoto lens to make images of the clouds, almost like portraits. It's at 70 to 200 millimeter. It's equivalent to a 300. Oh, hi. By the way, this is Shasta. Shasta, say hi. Hi, hi. She's a huge, huge, cute dog. Ain't you? Come here. Come here. There you go. Oh, there you go. Anyway, as I was saying, it's a 70 to 200 millimeter lens, so it's equivalent to a 300 millimeter on the Sony a6500's crop sensor, so it can get really close to far away objects like the clouds. And these are some of the results. And of course, you should be taking advantage of the summer storms. I took these 2 shots from my bedroom. This was a fun one. I used one of those caps for the camera to make a homemade pinhole lens. As you can see, I made a big hole on the back and then covered the front with some tape until I got like tiny hole. That's the pinhole. After spending one afternoon at home playing with some toys and some cooking stuff and whatnot, these are some of the results. Man, this is a must, the summer and the fireworks. But I did it a little bit differently this time. You see, I used a manual lens, a 58mm f1.7 Minolta lens with an adapter. What I did is I took exposures between 3 and 4 seconds, so first I would focus on infinity, and halfway in the exposure after 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds I would just turn the lens all the way, so the last half of the exposure would be out of focus. And these are some of the results. Okay, so this is the biggest advantage of the summer, and it's the clear and warm nights that are perfect for night photography. I'm not a huge fan of night photography, but I still like to do it every once in a while. So one day I woke One day I woke up really early, way before sunrise, and I drove to a nearby forest. I parked the car and I used the car lights to lighten up the whole forest while I was taking pictures. I was using a manual lens again. This is a cheap Misc lens. I think it's Misc or something like that. It's a 35mm f1.7 lens for the Sony cameras. It's not the best lens in the world, but it creates kind of interesting images. After a while, I just turned off the car lights and used the flash that the camera has built in, and this created kind of creepy images, and these are some of the results. A few days ago I was out of town and I had a few hours to kill, so I had an idea that at the end it was not that good, but I went out and went to a camera store. I bought a UV filter and then I used the oil from a can of tuna that I happened to have in the car. I just spread some of that oil on the UV filter and then I went out to take some pictures. The idea was to emulate the look of a Holga, and it kind of worked. The problem was that oil is not the best thing that you can put in the UV filter because it doesn't really stick, so it kind of drops to the bottom of the filter and I can't get to the lens. So next time I'll be using Vaseline instead. The last one, and this is an obvious one for the summer, is infrared photography. I had this roll of Rolly IR 400 on the shelf for a long time, so I decided that it was about time to try it. So I went out. It was a very bright and sunny day. This was my first time shooting infrared with film, by the way, so I had no idea what to expect from the results. So I took a bunch of pictures of different subjects, and I gotta say that I absolutely loved the results. They exceeded my expectations by far. So yeah, I'll be ordering more rolls of this film stock pretty soon, but take a look at the results. Now I'm considering converting my Sony a6000 to a dedicated infrared camera. You can remove the infrared filter from the sensor, so it's able to capture the infrared light. And yeah, I think it's around 150 euros or something like that, so it could be worth it. This film stock that I shot, the Rolly IR 400, is 8 to 9 euros per roll, so it's not the cheapest film to shoot, and also the results can be very unexpected from what I've seen, so it would be nice to actually be able to shoot digital infrared photography with a digital camera too. But I don't know, because it's the camera that I usually use for video, so I will have to get another one for video. We will see. And that's all for today. I hope that these ideas inspire you to create something during bad weather, be it the boring summer or this pouring down outside or whatever, and you are stuck at home. And please, I would love to hear from you if you have any other ideas or any other techniques that would be worth trying for photography. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.